All right, so we are on day 3. I don't need to tell you that. You've been outside of dangerous heat across our area. We need to talk about the safety, though, and what warning signs to look for, because there's a big difference in the effects you can have.
Yeah, very true. And that's why we have ABC medical correspondent Dr. Darien Sutton here to talk about this. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
Let's talk about this. What are the signs of heat stroke and heat exhaustion? Two different things, but very important.
Very important. Heat brings a very real risk to our health, and I think it's so important to state that because many people underestimate it. I've been in the emergency room this week. It is hot and humid. Sam, you know, you've been talking about it. Patients coming in with all types of signs of heat exhaustion, heat illness, and in some cases, heat stroke. So knowing the symptoms early are really important. For heat exhaustion, we all know what this feels like, that headache, the dizziness, profuse sweating, excessive thirst. This is your body's attempt to cool itself down. But when that system fails and your organs start to suffer, that leads to organ failure, and that is the definition of heat stroke. Now, that means that your organs are truly suffering. It can present as confusion and seizures as our brains are extremely sensitive, even to small temperature changes, and then a body temperature above 105. Now, I would say any temperature above normal in heat is concerning, and if it's not treated, it can lead to loss of consciousness, coma, and death.
Dr. Sutton, I've heard Sam and our entire weather team talk about how difficult it is to drive home, how hazardous extreme heat is. Why is it so disastrous? Why should people be listening intently right now?
I listened to Sam's reports intently because of the humidity. It's really important to understand that the way we cool our bodies down is through a process of evaporative cooling. When we sweat, it evaporates, we cool down. When the humidity is high, sweat really doesn't have anywhere to go, heat doesn't have anywhere to go, your core temperature stays up, and that induces stress on your body.
It's so funny because I think people who have underlying illnesses are really aware of it, but normal, healthy people are just like, oh, I'm going to push through this. I'm going to move through
Saw
this.
a guy playing basketball yesterday.
Right, and it quickly goes from one to the other. I loved your graphic when you said, no, these organs are going to shut down. Your systems are going to go down. So you don't want to even play with that. What steps should people take if, by the way, you're just feeling a little hot? You know, I'm a normal, healthy person. I'm just feeling a little hot, but it's rough out there.
Yeah, well, if you feel your heart rate racing, if you feel like you're not getting comfortable even when you move into the shade, those are red flags. You should be able to feel like you're cooling off. If you're in an emergency, however, and you move to a shaded area and you feel overheated and you feel like it might be a problem where you need to go to the hospital and you need to cool down quickly, cover yourself in water, get in front of a fan. That allows that evaporative cooling process. And if you're placing ice packs, place them like an ER doctor in places where you have big blood vessels. The neck, the armpits. Those are places where you want to
Don't be afraid to
Don't be afraid of the groin.
You got to ask about the fans, because
he just brought up the fans. That's called the perfect segue. Yeah, there you go. You bring up the fans, and it's an important reason why a new study said that fans may not be as helpful as we think. Tell us why.
Well, this is a smaller study. It looks at fan use, specifically with older adults. And we all know our grandparents, when we go into their house, they don't want to cut on the AC. They just want to use the fan. And I hope that they'll look at this study because it shows that using a fan doesn't reduce core temperature. Although it might make you feel better, the goal is to reduce that core temperature, because when our temperature goes up, our heart rate goes up, our blood pressure goes up. And if you have a history of cardiovascular disease, many older adults do, that increases your risk. So making sure that you understand, unfortunately.
That's why those cooling centers are really important to go to if you don't have AC.
Yeah, and if you can't find a cooling center, libraries, malls, movie theaters, you need to get inside, avoid that heat and the peak times in the afternoon.
Check on your neighbors, the elderly, like you say.
Absolutely.
Please do. Please do. Thank you. That's great.
Of course.
Dr. Sutton.
We appreciate it.
All right. By the way, that's another perfect segue, is how hot it's been and when it breaks. We will come back with your forecast in just a second.